Hey guys, thanks for joining us for another episode. We really appreciate you guys watching and also commenting on the previous videos. We've been trying to respond to you on all those. We've gotten a lot of great questions as well as comments and suggestions, and we really appreciate those. And so thank you for that. And welcome back to the Van Build Tech Talk series. My name's Curt, and today we're going to be talking about layout, planning, and design of your van, your tiny home, your RV, or whatever it is you're building. I think this would apply to all sort of tiny spaces. We call ours a tiny home on wheels. But in any event, if you've missed some of the the previous episodes, we started with episode 1, which was solar, and then we did one on air conditioning, and we've done one on recirculating showers. So if you haven't seen those, check those out. In upcoming episodes, we're going to be covering the electrics. We're going to be covering plumbing. We're going to be covering appliances and cooking. And then from comments from some of the people, we're going to be doing one, and thank you for that, we're going to be doing one on the cost of living in a van. Also, there's interest in a cost affiliated van build tour. So we're going to do one of those. And so if you guys have any other comments or suggestions on some content that you'd like to see, please let us know in the comments, and we appreciate that. We have been trying to answer all of those. You guys should know that we are traveling full-time in the van, and we are traveling around the world, and this is our USA farewell tour. You can watch our travel viewers in the link provided, but so we're not always in areas where we have Wi-Fi or connectivity, and so we get back to your comments as soon as we can, but we certainly appreciate all of those. And along those lines, please don't forget to subscribe to the video, click the notification bell, hit the thumbs up, and as always, share this with all your friends, please. And we've gone to a lot of effort to source this van, and we wanted to share with you some of the cost savings that we've found. And so we've created an Amazon store with links to a lot of the products that we've used in the van build and for our van life in general. And so please check out that store as well. And now on to the content. Today we're talking about, as I said, about planning, layout, and design. And so I wanted to go through I wanted to show you the list of topics that I'm going to discuss in detail today. So if you want to take a screenshot, now is your opportunity. You'll probably see this list again. But number 1 is determine your use case. Converting or building your own van or your tiny home or converting your RV or whatever the case is, it's a very personal experience, and it's one of the things that gets me super excited about this. So I want to be clear, I'm not trying to push our van build on you or suggesting that you should do it this way. On the contrary, I encourage you to think about what your use is and to build it for that. So please just take these as ideas or suggestions, or maybe a framework or a procedure in terms of how to design a layout that works for you. Obviously, I'll share with you and use a lot of stories about our build, but I'll also try to talk about other examples maybe to kind of help you as you think through the process. So again, please don't think I'm trying to push my design off on you, because that's absolutely not the case. So number 1, determine your use case. So as I said, Snow and my use case and our 2 kitties really is we intend to travel around the world over the next 8 to 12 years. And so this is our full-time home. So it's a tiny home on wheels for us. And so we wanted some of the creature comforts that we had from the 3,800 square foot house that we left to move into this 94 square foot house. And so we're also going to be going into multiple countries. We're going to be traveling a lot, so we're going to be getting out of the van and seeing and doing. And that could include cities, that could include national parks or rural areas, stealth camping, boondocking, all those things. And so all those were considerations for our use cases. And so your use case may be completely different. You may just live in your van and work, and this may just be your home. And so you may not need some of the functionality that we have. It might be a van that you use on the weekends, maybe to go mountain climbing or our mountain biking or whatever the case is. And so you may want something that's more fit for storing your gear, holding your gear, and maybe just a place to sleep. And you may only need minimal cooking facilities or even bathroom facilities for that matter. Or you might have a family and you might be taking your kids out for the weekend. There's a lot of different use cases. So, but whatever your use case is, define that and then think about that use case and how you would convert your van to, or your tiny home to meet that specific use case, okay? So that's exactly what we did. So our van fits our use case. Some of the things that we have in our van may not make sense for you. So think about that. And then think about how you'll occupy that space. Will you spend a lot of time in the van? Will you spend a lot of time outside of the van? Will you, are you going to be cooking? What kind of bathroom do you want? But to get in a little bit more detail, because I think this is one of the, probably in terms of planning and designing, I think this is one of the most important things in terms of how you plan on occupying the space. I want to talk about the different individual spaces to think about. And so the first space I'll mention is your bed. And the bed can take up a lot of room in the van. So we wanted a queen size bed with an 8-inch mattress. We did not want to do a lot of fiddling with that. In other words, we didn't want a daytime table and a nighttime bed. We wanted a full-time bed. So for you, those are some options. There are some other things to consider with the bed. Do you want it sideways? Do you want it long ways? We don't have the same sleep schedule, so we didn't want to have to crawl over one another. So we wanted ours the length of the van. I get up early in the morning. Snow is somewhat of a night owl, and so she's up late. I'm in bed early, and so we wanted to be able to get in and out of the bed without disturbing each other. So those were some of the requirements that we had. So you just want to think about that space. For some people, especially, we have a 170-inch wheelbase, and so we have a little bit more room. But if you only have a 135-inch wheelbase, those extra inches might make a big difference to have a daytime table which converts to a bed. So again, that's something you need to consider. The next thing is that I'll talk about is the next space is the bathroom. Okay, and some people just opt not to have a bathroom, right? I've seen folks where their bathroom is really literally a shovel or maybe a 5-gallon bucket and a bag for a toilet. And also some people have no shower. Maybe they have one of the solar showers they put on the top. We clearly have a fully functional bathroom. That was something that was important to us. That was probably one of our biggest priorities. And so we wanted something where we could take sort of normal showers without having a huge issue with all the weight that water has that comes with that. And so we developed a recirculating shower system, and it's great. We have a composting toilet. And so those are things that you'll want to consider. What kind of bathroom amenities you want, if at all. Our kitchen sink doubles as our bathroom sink for brushing our teeth and washing our hands and doing all those things. But the bathroom is another space you want to think through. Then kitchen. Most people, even if they opt not to have a bathroom in their van, they opt to have some form of kitchen in their van, whether it's a campfire stove that they set up or a full-time kitchen. We have a full-time kitchen with an induction cooktop. We have a convection air frying oven. We have a full sink that's big enough to wash dishes and things like that. And then we also have a refrigerator in our kitchen. So our refrigerator is a stand-up refrigerator. It's compact. Some people go with the cooler style refrigerator where the lid opens up. I'm sure you guys have probably researched some of those different kinds of refrigerating combinations. All of those are going to affect your space usage, and so you'll want to consider what kind of kitchen amenities you are going to use and how you want to use your kitchen, right? So are you going to be in there a lot, or is it something you're just going to be able to set up a camp stove outside your van and get away with? So all considerations you want to make with your kitchen. The next space is the living and working space. And so again, for us, since this is our home, it's not a secondary home, this is our primary home, we wanted it to be comfortable. We wanted to be able to have multiple spaces where we can hang out, maybe to get away from each other a little bit. Maybe if we're both working on a project like we are right now, I'm doing this video, Snow's in the other room doing some editing. And so we wanted to create some comfortable living space where we can hang out together and or apart. And so, and then also where we could do some work, where we could edit, or where we could eat. And all those things are considerations for you in terms of deciding how you want to utilize the different spaces you have. And then storage is huge for probably most of us, if not all of us, because this is such a tiny space. We live a minimal lifestyle by living in this house, and so we're only capable of carrying so many things. And so the other thing to be mindful is how much storage. I think if somebody's working and living in their van full time, and they have a 9-to-5 job or whatever, where they have to have a full wardrobe of clothes to go into their job, maybe clothes storage might be a bigger priority than it is for somebody like us, but we needed multifunctional storage for all the things we do, for the cooking, for the cats. We wanted some bikes to do some excursions, obviously our clothes, because we're going to be going to different countries. We're going to have warm and cold temperatures. So there's a lot of considerations. We have our camera gear. So there's a lot of considerations that we had for the different types of storage. And so just be mindful of where you're going to have your storage and how much storage you actually need. That can really affect your build. What we did was found out by laying out some of our other items, then we were able to kind of figure out where we could put the storage and see if that matched what our storage needs were. And then also for a space, and a lot of people don't consider this, but for us this was a huge difference maker, and that is your undermount and your rooftop storage, or your areas. Now there's obviously there's utility considerations, your gray water tank, your fresh water tank. Some people choose to put those in their kitchen underneath their sink. Obviously that takes up space, and so by leveraging your undermount and or your rooftop. Now what I should say about your rooftop is you got to be careful not to overweigh that, but you can put a little bit of stuff up there. I've seen plenty of people with kayaks or boats and different kind of sporting utilities. So there you do have the opportunity to put a rack up there and use a little storage up top as well. And so those are places you don't want to forget when you think about how you're going to lay out your van. If you leverage those spaces, then that can create some more room inside the van potentially. And then you have moving about space. And so we have a lot of stuff in our van, and so how we move through the van, obviously it's not like a house where you can have a big party or whatever, where people are just kind of rambling around socializing and things like that. We have a hallway though. We do have a hallway where we can move from the front of the and the back of the van, and that was something that we considered. And when you consider a hall or a moving space or a kitchen where you're working, you have to think about that also takes away from places where you can sit, store, or do other stuff with. And so for us, we opted to have a little hallway that passes between our kitchen and our couch. It was wide enough for us comfortably to pass through. And then also at our entrance door, we have a sort of a passing area, and in the bathrooms a passing area, or in our shower bathroom is a passing area. So those are wider. So if we need to pass each other as we move through the van, then we just call passing area, and one person kind of gets there, and that's how we move about the van until we get to where we're going. But you want to be mindful of that. Some people like a more open space. And I'll just say about moving about space, also consider head space. And so we have above our head, we have the cabinets. We have almost throughout the van. There's the only place we don't have is in the shower and above the door that we leave out. And so depending on how much space you feel like you need up above your head and above your shoulders, you'll certainly want to consider that as well. And the last thing I'll discuss in terms of spaces are your utilities. And this is really not kind of the fun stuff you want to put in the van, but it's the necessary stuff, right? It's the water tanks, it's the electric components, it's those things that you have to remember. For us, air conditioning ducts, those are things that you have to remember to leave space for, have a path for them to move through the van, and they do take up space, and they do, and they do take some planning to figure out where you're gonna run your wires, how you're gonna run your plumbing, and those types of things. So those are the spaces that I would challenge you to think about, and how you plan on using those, and how you plan on occupying those. And once you've thought through those things, what it's going to come down to is really defining your priorities. And so for us, because you're going to end up making compromises in your van. It's 94 square foot. Ours is, and a lot of vans. And I think we have the longest Sprinter that's out there. Now you may have a schoolie, or you may have something that's bigger than that. But if you're talking about converting a van, we have one of the bigger vans, and so chances are you're even talking about a smaller space. And so, if you're probably going to have to make some compromises in terms of what you can put in your van and what you can't. And so that's where defining priorities really helps. Now, if it's going to be more than just you in the van, so you and a significant other, or spouse, or you and a family member, or for that matter, even, really, I was going to say you and a pet, but a pet doesn't have much say in it, although they have a consideration. I would encourage you to get with that person and go through the priority list and talk through that, because if you're both going to be in the van, then you want it to be comfortable for both of you. And since there's going to be compromises, you want to make sure you're going to be on the same page with those compromises, so that as you start living and moving in the van, it's good for both of you, and you understand why it is a certain way. And so when I say define those priorities, so you guys may know from seeing our van what our priorities are. And by the way, if you haven't seen our van, check out our van tour video. I think we'll put a link up here. But as I already mentioned, a full-time bed was important for us. A layout bed, queen size, 8-inch mattress, comfortable bed. You spend a lot of time in your life sleeping. I think it's a third or something like that. But whatever it is, we wanted a comfortable bed. We didn't want to compromise on the thickness or the type of mattress. So, in our previous house, we had a king size, so we did compromise and went with a queen size bed. But we went with the length of the van, again, as I said, so we didn't have to crawl over each other. Another priority for us was a fully functional bathroom, which is why we have the recirculating shower and the composting toilet. I think we'll do a video on the composting toilet coming up, because as far as I'm concerned, I would not put a flushable toilet in a van. Some people do, and I'm not criticizing them. It's, like I said, it's all a personal decision. But we've had our composting toilet now. We've been in the van for over 100 days. Absolutely love it. It works out great. And from a plumbing and from a maintenance perspective, it just seems to make so much more sense than a flushable toilet. But anyway, enough about that. So define your priorities. Define what's important to you. And I could go through a list. We have a whole list of priorities that were important to us. And they really were tied to our use case, right? Traveling across the USA, not knowing where we're going to be able to get water, how long we wanted to be without water, how we wanted to run our utilities. We run all our utilities on electrics, so we don't have propane, we don't have that other fuel source. And since we run off solar and a dual alternator, we don't have the cost. Not only do we not have to manage propane, worry about it bouncing around the van, all that other stuff, we don't have the cost of propane. So basically cooking is free for us. So and we don't have to find it, just all the stuff that comes with that. So think about those things, define your priorities, and that's going to be really key. Now, once you've defined your priorities, what you want to do is you want to get some graph paper, and or if you're good on Excel and or PowerPoint. I like PowerPoint, but take a graph sketch of your van and just lay out the general dimensions. And in those dimensions, you'll want to put things like your wheel wells, because they obviously get in the way of some of your design. And you may even want to consider some of the things you have under chassis if you're planning on mounting things under chassis, your sliding door on the sides, and also maybe where you plan on putting any windows, roof vents, anything like that could potentially affect your layout. You may want to draw those in sort of the outline of your graph of your van. And so once you do the outline on graph paper, and my recommended scale is 3 inches per box. If you use that on normal size graph paper, that works out pretty good, where you can get your whole van on there. And it makes a lot of sense. If you go with 1 foot per box, it's you can't quite get the detail you need, but 3 inches is pretty good to be able to sketch it up pretty good. But once you get the outline of your van kind of drawn up or whatever on that, make copies of that. And then that way that gives you a template to do multiple things with. And then for the things that are priority for you to put in bed. So again, for example, we wanted a queen size bed. We looked at what the dimensions were, and then we cut out a queen size bed to scale with our mock-up. And then for our couch and for our refrigerator, for our toilet. And that allowed us to move those around, physically move those around in that little design template that we had, to play with different design ideas to come up with something that was functional for us. Now, I should mention that you can also do this in PowerPoint, so you can take and scale out a bed, just create a box, and then you can move that around within your space as well. And so for me, PowerPoint's easier. Snow loves to give the wax pencils out, the graph paper, and the colors and all that stuff. And whatever works for you to help you visualize and think about it, talk with your partner about potential layouts, and to determine how you're going to move in the space, how you're going to occupy it. And that is what's going to allow you to really visualize where your storage, where your nooks and crannies, how can I utilize this as a multi-use space, which is what we've done with our bathroom. So if you guys have seen our bathroom, it's a pass-through bathroom with a door on each side. So it's a fully functional shower, toilet. We have cushions that we had made to put on top of those. And so we also have a slide-out table there. We also have an oven that works from there. And some storage that works from that space. So it's a very multifunctional space. It's our passing area. It's our hallway. It's a very, very multifunctional space. And we ended up with that because we did this step right here that I'm talking about. We sketched it up, and we sketched it multiple times. The original layout that we had looks nothing like the layout we have now. And that's because we did this next step, which is we slept on it. And when I say we slept on it, we'd have a layout, and we would just let it rest for a day or two, and we would discuss it and think about it. And invariably one of us would come back and say, what if we did this? What if we moved this here? What if we moved that there? And so, that can be a part of the creative process that can help you really kind of come up with the best design for you. And then kind of after you work through that, or as you work through that process right there, check for logistics. So, where am I getting, again, utilities are a huge one on this. So if I decided, let's put the kitchen here, we need it, and we're going to do undermount water, or wherever we're going to run our plumbing, then we need to check and make sure that we can do that there, that we don't have a truss under the van in the way, or we don't have a fuel tank, or whatever it is. So you just want to check the logistics, with your windows and all that type of stuff. And if you have the advantage, do this before you cut your windows in. Now, if your windows are already there, then you're kind of stuck with that. But and then you'd have to work around those. In our case, we didn't cut our windows in until after we did this layout and design portion, which is what I would encourage you to do, because then you can put the windows, the kind of windows you want, where you want them. And that can be a huge game changer. I should do a whole topic on windows, because I think windows are very, very, very important in a lot of aspects of the van. So, but anyway, I won't get hung up on there right now. And then finally, don't be afraid to revise your plan, and be critical of it, and talk through it. But once you think you have a fully revised plan, with your sketch and your drawings, and by now you've kind of maybe worked on your overhead stuff as well, and you've got everything drawn up how you want it. The next step is to go out and build it, guys. And, just know as you build it, things might not always work out as you plan. And so you may have to move or tweak some things. You certainly are going to probably have to solve some dilemmas and issues as you go through. But the more you do on this planning and design and layout piece, the easier your overall van build is going to be. And what I always tell everybody is, they say, what was the most difficult part of your van build? It was this right here. This and sourcing and finding out where to build and find all the things that we needed to build what we wanted. But deciding, once we knew what we wanted and we had those priorities. And what that led to was something that we were super excited about and really confident that we were going to be comfortable in. Now, I'm not going to tell you that our van build was perfect out the gate. We did have made some tweaks and modifications based on things that we've used, and I think we're going to do a video on that. You know, lessons learned after being in the van for 100 days. But it overall 99% has worked out great for us. And again, I attribute that to really thinking through this particular phase. I can tell you we were super excited when we first got our van and ready to build and ready to start cutting holes and nailing wood and doing all those things. But take the time with this aspect of it, and it'll pay dividends in the end. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate the comments. We appreciate the likes. We appreciate the subscriptions. We appreciate you. Check out our van travel series, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.